Well, hello and welcome to MotorWeek 88. We're glad to have you with us. A few weeks back, we previewed the revised Isuzu Impulse and promised a complete test. Well, now we'll make good on that promise. But first, some history. The Impulse began life in 1979 as a futuristic model for the Geneva Auto Show. It was called the Ace of Clubs. Automotive writers typed millions of characters about it, yet no one believed it would reach production. Well, it did, and writings began anew. But they then focused on its lack of power. Isuzu fixed that with fuel injection and turbocharging, and more road tests followed. Well, next the theme turned to road manners. The Impulse still handled a lot like the economy car on which it was based. Well, now that's been fixed too. And how Isuzu did that is generating more words and pictures than ever.
The how can actually be answered with one word. That word is Lotus, the famed British sports car maker whose engineering branch was hired by Isuzu to retune the Impulse's suspension. Lotus dictated new springs and bushings, slightly stiffer gas shocks, and a larger front stabilizer bar. The result of the modest changes is a dramatic improvement in the way Isuzu's little rear-drive coupe handles. Front-end plow has been substantially reduced, and the Impulse's twitchy rear end is now firmly anchored to the pavement. But while the suspension has adopted a more European feel, Lotus's efforts on improving the Impulse's power steering were less successful. It still has a vague, overboosted feel that characterizes many Japanese sport coupes. It's especially noticeable during emergency maneuvers. Fortunately, the new suspension is so rock steady that you never feel any loss of control. An extra bonus of the new suspension is improved highway ride. It's smoother and quieter with an interior sound level of only 68 decibels. Of course, a new suspension deserves a more powerful engine, and in the Impulse you get a choice. We naturally opted for the more powerful one. It's a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder that makes 140 horsepower and 166 pound-feet of torque. Non-turbo Impulses get their power from a 2.3-liter 4-cylinder, putting out 110 horsepower. On the track, our Impulse Turbo turned in a 0 to 60 time of 9 seconds flat. The quarter mile ended in 16.8 seconds at 82 miles per hour. Acceleration times are helped along by a slick shifting 5-speed manual transmission. A 4-speed automatic is also available. The engine's power delivery system is smooth and consistent with minimal turbo lag. Engine noise is prominent, but still within acceptable limits. Braking is accomplished by power-assisted disc on all 4 wheels. These brought our test car down from 55 and an average distance of 108 feet. Stops are straight and steady, and the firm, smooth pedal is easy to control. Of course, the changes for 1988 aren't strictly mechanical. The Impulse Turbo also gets a dose of new styling to go along with its improved performance. The front end gets a sleeker hood, now without headlight doors. The lights themselves get smaller, as does the grille. And a pop-up sunroof becomes standard equipment on all Impulses. New taillights are also part of the package, and turbo models get a prominent body color spoiler. All this makes the Impulse Turbo one of the sharpest-looking little Oriental GTs available. It's also one of the best equipped. Interior appointments that most manufacturers list as options are all standard on the Impulse. These include air conditioning, a cassette stereo, and a complete selection of power accessories. The front bucket seats are comfortable with good support and large side bolsters. Flaws include tacky seat fabrics, a clumsy manual height adjustment, and a single-setting lumbar adjustment that many drivers found to be uncomfortable. A 7-position tilt wheel is standard, as are passive restraints. Gauges are all analog. We like the circular tach and speedometer, but the bar-type gauges that make up the rest of the package are hard to read at a glance. Nevertheless, it is a very comprehensive package. Almost all controls are mounted on the gimmicky adjustable pods which move with the tilt wheel. They do keep all controls within finger reach of the steering wheel. Unfortunately, the wheel blocks your view of many of their switches. The standard cassette stereo is an excellent 80-watt Technics unit. Non-turbo Impulses get Isuzu's own 40-watt system. Rear seat room is typical of 2+2 style coupes. The smaller your rear seat passengers are, the better. We do, however, like the fact that seat backs can be adjusted for rake. The rear seat backs also fold all the way forward to allow access to the cargo area, or to provide extra space for larger loads. The extra space will be needed since the cargo area is narrow and shallow. There's only space for a couple of overnight bags here. The EPA rates the Impulse Turbo at 20 city, 25 highway. Our 100-mile mixed driving loop returned a very respectable 24 miles per gallon. As for price, the Impulse Turbo will run you $15,529. Our test car had one option, floor mats, so it cost $15,579. An automatic transmission is the only other option. In the area of competition, a comparably equipped Toyota Celica GTS will cost you a lot more. It has fewer standard features, but still holds the edge in handling. A loaded Ford Mustang GT will cost about the same and offers far superior acceleration, and it has more luggage space as well. In our safety check, the Impulse Turbo passes with front passive restraints and radial tires. It lacks rear shoulder belts, 5-mile-per-hour bumpers, and anti-lock brakes. The Impulse's much improved handling leads our list of hits. That's followed by the long list of standard features: smooth, efficient turbo engine, excellent braking performance, and sharp exterior styling. Misses include the over-boosted power steering, over-designed interior details, and marginal luggage space. This will probably be the last upgrade for the current Impulse platform. The aging rear-drive chassis will likely be replaced with a new, possibly front-drive design within a few years. In the meantime, the Impulse, with its Lotus suspension, finally handles as it should. And that should be enough to keep the words and pictures flowing for at least a few more years.